Hello, Mzansi. Welcome to my channel. My name is Linda Tahane, Director of Jotela Mtika and Associates. We're a premier vetting and criminal background check services provider. We do criminal record clearances and expungements. We do criminal administration system updates, and we also do applications for presidential pardon. Following the previous videos that I have done, I thank you for the inquiries and the feedback, which has prompted me then to look into how I can be able to explain the scope of the criminal records, the reality, the lived experiences of people with criminal records, so that we can build on that going forward. So this video would be for somebody who's working with ex-convicts, a family member who wants to know better, or to who is interested in the topic, somebody who wants to know in detail how a criminal record affects their loved one. Government departments also, people, HR people, they would want to know, to understand the legalities and everything that is surrounded, or anything and everything that has to do with criminal records. So let me reiterate again that there is no law that prohibits employment for people with criminal records. Okay? All right. So now, there is no law. There isn't. But then we know that the lived experiences of people with criminal records is not a very nice experience. Because most of them would tell you that I didn't get that job because of a criminal record. Immediately when I submitted my fingerprints for vetting, I was told it's a hit. I was told, go check your criminal record. We give you 2 weeks, of which sometimes it is not really possible to have that done in a space of 2 weeks, given the vastness of the problem. Distances, all these things are done in Pretoria. Are we together? So for people across the length and breadth of South Africa, it's not something that can be accomplished in 2 weeks. Hence, we exist. So we've got a national footprint of offices all over South Africa. So we are easily reachable. Our head office is situated at Sandton, Nelson Mandela Square. So for further details, it will be in my bio down there. So as you can see here, Director of Jotela Mtika, ask me. Some of you have seen me with this t-shirt in the streets of Jersey, of Durban. You've seen me handing out pamphlets, explaining to people as to the services that I offer and how I can be of assistance to them. So let us look at the scope of criminal records. Now, you will agree with me that on a daily basis, people are going to court, people are getting arrested, people are being sentenced. Are we together? To either imprisonment or community-based sentences. Those are non-custodial. So when I say people get arrested, it can be for a variety of charges. It can be for theft, it can be for drunken driving, it's a lot of cases that we can talk about. But that is the onset of a criminal record, because they're going to take fingerprints. Are we together? That is what I mean when I say criminal administration system. You will remember that, pardon me, all case numbers have what we call CAS. Then it will be a number, stroke the month, stroke the year. So if it was a case of today, it will be stroke case 00 stroke 03 stroke 2024. Okay. So in previous years, obviously the years will be applicable. But then once that is done, then the whole process starts. So as I've mentioned before, people get arrested for a variety of charges, and they are taken before court as the Constitution stipulates. So judging by the number of people who are exiting and entering the criminal justice system, you will understand that indeed the system is overwhelmed. Are we together? So by overwhelmed, I mean the numbers are ever increasing. They do not decrease. So that automatically translates into people who will not be able to access employment, because those that are convicted obvious they're not going to get employment, especially if they are sent to prison. Some would be able to retain their jobs because they paid a fine in prison, they paid a fine in court, or they paid it in police station. They call it AOG, admission of guilt fine. And then those that got a cautionary discharge might be able to retain their jobs. But the nightmare will start when they want to apply for an upgrade, or maybe a senior post, or a promotion in the particular job that they're doing, because they will be expected to submit a fingerprint report which will say illicit activity. So basically that's where the whole scope is. So I'm sure you will agree with me, Mzansi, that millions and millions and millions of people have criminal records. You probably know of somebody who has a criminal record. You know of somebody who was good at what they do, who deserved a particular position, but because of a criminal record, that position was frozen. Are we together? So now, as I have said, the scope is vast. Are we together? So that automatically corresponds to the number of unemployment. Are we together? A number of people are unemployed because of this thing of a criminal record. Why? Because remember, the Criminal Procedure Act, like the Criminal Procedure Act, Section 271B states that a criminal record can only be expunged after 10 years. So it is on that basis that a lot of people will be stuck with a criminal record, waiting for this 10-year period to lapse so that they can then unchain themselves from the nightmare of a criminal record. So the other thing, again, the lived experiences that some people were also asking about was that, why is it that some consumer agencies, they are now doing background checks? Let's say maybe you want to apply for a home loan, the bank will check that. You want to buy a car, the bank will check that. They're not only going to check your credit score or your credit references or your credit history, but they would also check criminal record. Are we together? It is now lately happening. Education institutions of higher learning, they also do that. Are we together? To say, is this student fit? Are we together to be amongst other learners? Are we together? We have seen a lot of people being denied access to education, especially in higher institutions of learning, where they will need like a report which states that the matter was dismissed in court, or there is no illicit activity. Are we together? The matter didn't even, the accused didn't even appear in court. Are we together? So people are very, very careful these days about the question of criminal records. And then again, not only that, government departments also and other employment agencies, a lot of employment agencies require a clean slate. They require a clean criminal record. Like when the SAP 69I or the fingerprint clearance report is submitted, it must state no illicit activity. So we will then look into the question of the issue where there are mistakes in the system, because mistakes do happen. Are we together? Like situations where a person was indeed charged. That particular person appeared in court, and then the matter was dismissed. Are we together? It means that person shouldn't have a criminal record. Are we together? It means that person is free. Are we together? Then they've walked out of court, everything was done and dusted. But years later, they want to apply for a job, or they want to access a home loan, or they want to access, and then bam, criminal record. Are we together? Only to find that it is an omission, or it is a mistake that was not rectified in the system. We also do that. That is that a criminal administration system update that I spoke about. Are we together? So in order for us to do that, we will require a SAP 69, they call it a fingerprint clearance or a name clearance report, obtainable at the local South African Police Services police station. You go